Hello and welcome to week 2 of Guiding the Behavior of Children. So this week you're going to be looking at the different theories regarding guiding the behavior of children. And as you've noticed, the text and the early childhood program really try and stay away from the word discipline. We much prefer the word guidance because obviously that has a much more positive connotation to it. So this week, as you're looking at the different theories, what you're going to find is that there are theories that you probably have never heard of before. Several of the theories that are mentioned in the book, like Piaget, Vygotsky, Erickson, those are theorists that you're probably going to see throughout your time in the early childhood program. But some of the theorists that are mentioned in this chapter are really kind of unique to looking at the behavior of children. One of them, the first one that's mentioned in the chapter, is Brofenbrenner, which everyone has a very difficult time trying to pronounce his name. But his theory is very interesting because it really is looking at the different influences on a child. We know just from personal experience that when children misbehave, a lot of times not only is there a reason for it, but that there are other factors at play. And so Brofenbrenner's theory really looks at all of the different influences that are going to have an impact on a child and their development. A couple of the other theorists that are mentioned in the chapter that are unique to looking at children's misbehavior are Adler and Carl Rogers. Adler actually is one of my favorite theorists in this particular chapter, simply because I completely agree with him. When children misbehave, normally we can find a reason for it. And the ones that he comes up with are ones that I think are extremely valid. I do agree that children a lot of times will misbehave when they're trying to exert power or revenge or gain attention. So his theory is one that I really put a lot of stock in. Carl Rogers looks at determining who owns the problem. And so this really takes a little bit of introspection as a teacher for you to decide whether or not a child is behaving in a way that is causing you to have the problem or if it really is a problem that they are going to hold. An example that I always use is I'm very much a type A kind of person, and I don't like things that are not picked up or put away. But I would have to recognize that in a classroom, as long as none of the materials are causing a problem for children, that if it's not exactly as perfect as I would like it to be, that's okay. A teacher who puts those kinds of pressures onto children and then forces them to comply normally have a problem. So his theory is another one that really is kind of unique to this particular course. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a very interesting theory as well. And he really believes that unless children have those basic needs, food, shelter, care, as they need to be met before a person can actually advance up the hierarchy. So I just kind of wanted to give you a quick overview of the different theorists that are in this chapter. Like I said, some of them are going to be so familiar to you, and you're going to be absolutely sick of Piaget and Vygotsky by the time that you're done. But they are really kind of the main theorists that guide, even now, what we believe about how children develop in early childhood. So what you noticed for this chapter is that I also gave you an outline of the different theorists that are mentioned in the chapter and the different theories, things like social learning theory that didn't have a theorist that went along with it. And the only reason I did that is because sometimes it really is difficult to keep them all straight. Each one is a little bit different. And especially since I went ahead and gave you your final exam this week, I thought it would be really helpful for you as you're reading through the chapter to be able to take notes on the different theorists and theories, because that really is going to be a main focus of your philosophy paper at the end. So if you can keep notes on them now, it's going to stay a lot fresher in your mind and you don't have to go back to it at the end of the semester. So just a few other quick things for this week. One, I absolutely enjoyed reading all of your class introductions. And hopefully I responded to everyone to welcome you to the class. And I enjoyed seeing the community that we're already building in this online class. So I hope that that continues. For this week, you have another discussion board posting, which is going to count as your attendance and participation. And I'm simply asking you to respond to which theorist really kind of stands out to you. And you're going to notice as we go, not only throughout this course, but even throughout your other CHD courses, that it's important to be able to defend what you believe. And so the more that I can ask you to put it into writing and defend it, the better it's going to be for you in the future. With discussion boards, I don't think that I had an issue with that last week, but just so you know, going forward, whenever there is a discussion board question that you need to respond to, the requirement for this class is for you to respond to it yourself and then respond to at least 2 of your classmates within the week. Remember, our weeks run from Monday morning until Sunday at midnight. So you have the entire week to get everything done. As I said, I went ahead and put the philosophy paper on Blackboard for you this week. You're going to find it in 2 places. In the week 2 folder, you're going to find all of the information on it, and you're also going to find it in the assignments link. On the left-hand side of Blackboard, as I showed you last week, is where you can find all of the assignments as we go. Right now, the only thing that should be available to you is the philosophy paper. But I wanted you to have that in advance. I wanted you to see the rubric that I was going to be using because I think it's important for you to work on it as you go. It's going to be a lot easier to write that at the end of the semester if you've kept up with each chapter and you've taken notes on the things that really kind of stand out to you. Remember, you are going to have to pull in information from your textbook in your philosophy paper. So go ahead and start making notes of page numbers, quotes, anything that really kind of stands out to you. As I said, I'm all about practicality. I don't want anyone to feel stressed out with this course. I've really tried to pace it so that it's going to be something that is going to be manageable for you. And so giving you the final exam up front hopefully will be beneficial to you. So I think that's it for this week. Enjoy reading chapter 2 and the different theorists. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'll see you next week.